Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. Good morning. Whatever time of the day you are listening to this episode, or listening to this podcast. I am the host with the most, Keegan Hartman. Welcome back yet again to another episode of the Strive Sports Podcast. If you have not already done so, I know I've been on a hiatus. Can't tell you the last time I put an episode out, but felt like it was warranted to kind of get this thing back going. We're in football season, so we got to get our guests back in, and we got a good one today. But before I get to our guests, make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast. It helps us, helps the algorithm, gets the product out, gets the content out. Like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. Do it for the brand. Like, comment, do whatever you got to do. Also, if you are into it, make sure you find me and follow me on my handles: Instagram, Twitter, at Kigo Amigo on Instagram, at Keegan Hartman 1 on Twitter. All right. That was short, sweet, to the point. Bills have been paid for now. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, my next guest here on the Strive Sports Podcast today, a man who hones from the free state, right? Maryland. Shout out, Maryland.
DC.
DC, God bless it. God bless it.
DC, man.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, yeah, backyard, right?
Yep. Hey, DC, Maryland. It's not the same, but it's in a close proximity.
All right. Well, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Look, all right. In fact, he did play though for the University of Maryland from
Yep.
and mind you, let me go ahead and disclaimer here off topic. So when I go into these little stat sheets and fact sheets and I'm doing my research, sometimes I end up making an ass out of myself when I get on here and I'm like, they had these stats and they played from these years to these years. Your Maryland profile says from 2014 to 2018 was when you played. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank God. All right, Maryland, you finally did something. There we go. No, I'm kidding.
I would say reason that is correct because of the fact that Poser got to Maryland in 2013. And I had an issue with my grades, man. I wasn't clearinghouse eligible. So I had to go to a prep school, which is called Fort Union Military Academy, where I had to cut my dreads, had to become a military cat, man, for half a year, man. I lost that freshman year, man, to non-eligibility and stuff like that, man, and was able to regain that, man, opportunity to go back to Maryland after I got my SATs and scores and grades up and things like that. So then I was able to enroll the spring of 2014.
Yeah.
February 5th of 2014 was my first semester on campus.
Wow.
So I missed the fall of 2013. So I still came in the same semester, just the second semester post the first.
Well, I did not know that at all.
Yeah, I had a military school.
That's an interesting little tidbit there. That's crazy. Yep. No wonder. So they put your headshot on there and you got the dreads are cut off. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, man. I just got it from military school, man. I had to cut them dreads off, man. So I had to regrow them back. So I started my dreads in 2014. So now you see pretty much my hair has been growing since 2014.
Damn it, D, you don't even need an introduction, man. I had a whole fucking thing written out. Let's just get into it, bro. D,
let's get right into it, man. Wow. Let's cut the chase. Get right into it, brother.
Hey, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you right off the get. How you doing? How's life? Catch me up to speed and tell the folks, what you've been into, what you've been doing. I know you're just coming off of a second ring. You got two of them.
Two-peat, baby. Go Stallions.
Yes,
man. Man, I appreciate you giving me the floor, man. First of all, I want to say, Keegan, man, I appreciate you. First of all, let me come on, man, and come onto your platform, man. I know we've been knowing each other for about 2 years now, and ever since I met you, man, you've been a good dude, man. You've been a hardworking guy, man. There's always been trying to look for the next opportunity to become better, man. And that's one thing I do applaud you for, man, because no matter what, you're gonna find a way to keep going, man. And so coming on this podcast, Striving for Greatness, man, is a perfect name, man, because that's all we doing is striving to be the best we can be. So once again, congratulations on all the success, man, and continue doing what you're doing, brother. And now to me, man, and for me, man, it's been great, man. Like I said, coming off a second championship ring, man, with the Stallions, and it's been great, man. It's been a great opportunity for me, man, to actually win a back-to-back championships, man, where that's kind of hard to do, man. And for me, it was something that I do cherish, man. I do look at that ring every day and say I did win that, man. And not only just win that, but I put the work in for that ring. You know what I'm saying? Being one of the captains of the team, man, being one of the leaders of the team 2 years in a row. And leading the guys up front, man. And I pride myself not just on the accolades, but really being remembered for something. So when
Mhm.
I walk away from that game in the UFL or whatever league I'm in, since we're talking about the UFL, that Skip Holtz or whoever, Zach Potter or whoever
Mhm.
that I was around that impacted, whether it was you guys on the media side with Madison and you at the time, that I left a mark on everybody that I came in contact with. And that's kind of what I do, man. And I give everybody the most respect, man. And whether you're the janitor, media people, the people, whoever it is, man, you always want to give my most respect, man, because I appreciate everybody that does what they do to help us do what we like to do, which is look good on Instagram, play well, and all those type of things. So, but for me, man, I've been great, man. I've been having fun with it, man, and I'm really getting into my media side of things. You know, my love and deep desire for media, podcasting, sports anchoring, radio personality, on
Yes.
air personality. Everyone knows my deep love for that. So I'm now in my phase where I'm starting to transition, man, having little opportunities with news stations coming up and just getting right there in front of that camera, man, and having an opportunity to actually talk the game and help fans understand what really goes on under that hard metal thing we wear, which is called a helmet. And it's a lot going on in that brain on Sundays and or Saturdays, depending on the respective game. So, but everything's been great, man. I appreciate you asking, though, Key.
Yeah, for sure, man. And you know what? Look, you gave me my flowers, and I'm gonna give you your flowers because here's the thing, bro. I know that from the onset when I first met you. Yeah, look, it was kind of crazy because I didn't think that anybody in the backyard of where I was kind of in the same wheelhouse. And you went
Right,
your way to make sure that I was going to learn. And I'm always open for being a student. I think it's cool whenever you can learn something from anybody. But for you
right,
to go out of your way amid, prepping for a season and even spending a couple hours and teaching me a few things about my own craft, I'm like, man, I can't teach you anything about what you're doing,
right,
on counter, backside rule, all that.
right,
You to come over there and be like, hey, man, these are what are called nodes and helping me like learning the color grade process, bro. You don't understand how much that means to me for someone to, step out of their way and be a
right,
steward and
right,
really try to, bring the best out of someone. So,
for sure.
no, I am genuinely appreciative. And what you said
Always.
about yourself, I can attest to that, man. You're selfless. You're well respected. Obviously, you're a team captain for the team you represented. So right off the bat, I just wanted to address that, man. I'm greatly appreciative of you. Thank you for those kind words, but enough of the patronizing and the corny stuff. The bare bones of the conversation at hand. And
Yes, yes, sir.
and typically I start this show off, D Gray, with an icebreaker. And
Let's do it.
I felt like, all right, we got a guy that's an offensive lineman. You're the first offensive lineman to be on this podcast.
Let's
Everybody else
do it.
had different other positions. I want to talk to you about you have experience in the NFL. So you
Yep.
played for the Steelers. You were drafted by the Steelers, 219
Yep.
overall in the seventh round, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken.
You correct.
You play for the Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yep.
And I want to ask you a question that I've kind of noticed over the span of these first 4 weeks of the NFL season. For a guy that is coming into a new situation, and it really is prevalent with certain offensive schemes. When you look at the 49ers, for example, they got the zone scheme. It's a traditional Shanahan scheme that goes back to the 90s when they had Mike Shanahan running with Terrell Davis, Shannon Sharp, and Rod Smith.
Right.
From an offensive lineman standpoint, I want you to paint the picture of what it's like to be able to transition for first and foremost, going from college and translating over to the pros, coming from Maryland over to Pittsburgh, talking about that a little bit, but adapting to a scheme where, like, hey, where we're a pass heavy, we're not pass heavy, we're run heavy. So making that transition, maybe offer a little bit of what it's like going into the mind of an offensive lineman and how you adapt and adjust to that. How is that? How drastic is it? And is it easy to overcome?
It's a lot. You ask me a lot, and I love it. Coming for myself, I speak for myself. I always
Yeah,
like to speak from experience and not give you what I think. I like to speak from what I know.
for sure.
And for me, my biggest thing transition from college to the pros was not just time management, but knowing how to use your time to learn more and more and more. Because these guys that been there know this already. So literally, for me, the biggest thing was how fast can I learn?
Mm,
Because in the NFL, they don't give you a lot of chances and second chances to learn things before they get rid of you and find someone else. Yes, I was drafted, so I had a little wiggle room, but at the same time, adjusting to the playbook and terminology is so much different because when you're a pro, they put a little bit more on your plate because they expect you to be a pro.
Right.
So with all that being said, learning the playbook and learning the terminology was tricky first. You know what I'm saying? But I was kind of blessed to be playing with number 7, named Big Ben Roethlisberger at the time. That he played a key role in taking a lot of off the offensive line's plate. So I was kind of blessed to have him, and I didn't understand that until later in my years when I get to playing with Trevor Lawrence's rookie year and then playing with Ryan Tannehill. How smooth I had it really in Pittsburgh with number 7. So back to the question, the transition is really it's hard, man, because the offensive line is it's really physical down there. It's a lot going on. You have bigger athletes at the D line spot now that's moving faster than smaller guys is, and it's a lot going on. And you have to be able to learn on the fly and be able to operate when bullets are flying. And
Mm-hmm.
that's on every level, but on the pro level, it's a little more different, man. And I think I struggled my rookie year was just trying to get adjusted to the speed of the game and learning how to play, practice, and be a pro
Yeah.
outside of the game. And that was something that I really appreciated me being with an older line such as Marquise Pouncey. Shout out to Ramon Foster. I still look at Ramon Foster as one of my mentors, man. Dave DeCastro, Alejandro Villanueva, Matt Filer. We had BJ Finney. He was a backup. We had JC Hassner. Like we had guys that was there before me that did a really good job of training me to understand the material. Because no disrespect to Sean Surratt at Pittsburgh, but I feel like I didn't learn as much from him. He was an O-line coach, but I feel like I didn't really get the coaching that I deserved and needed out of that to learn what I really learned. I really learned it from my counterparts, my guys like Pouncey and Ramon Foss. Those guys really helped me come along. So as a young guy coming into the league, grab onto a veteran guy that not just there, but understands the process and understands how to do it on a high level and also showing you that the product of what you do when you follow these guidelines, this is what you're going to make of. So, like for instance, for Pouncey, if I really want to do the things like Pouncey do, I'm gonna get up at 5 in the morning and meet Pouncey in that weight room because Pouncey's the first one in the weight room. When
Yeah.
I'm coming to the building at 7 o'clock, getting ready for 8 o'clock meeting, I'm thinking I'm early. Pouncey already got his lift in, already showered, he's stretching, and at this point, he's talking to his kids early in the morning at 7:30. He's already done so much before I got there. Why is Pouncey doing this? Because he's understand how to be a pro. He understands how important it is to really own in your craft and take it as seriously as he does to reap the rewards that you want out of the game. And I started to do that, as you've seen maybe at the UFL, how serious I took practice, how hard I played, because I was trained through guys like that you can't take a day off. Every day matters, man. Every play, every snap matters, man. And that's just kind of where I was operating. I was so blessed to be able to go in a situation with the Steelers.
Not even 10 minutes, you're already preaching. That's crazy. I was gonna mention, so like with you talk about being a student of the craft itself, some of these most of the people that are gonna watch this podcast are gonna be younger guys on the come up. And I
Sure.
think it's imperative that you provide, maybe if you had to, what are some intangibles or tangibles offensive linemen specifically can really kind of hone their craft around, build their craft around, and something that they should focus on no matter what level. I mean, you even said it yourself, college going into the pros, but even high school going into college, every craft is ever growing. Every craft you're learning something and
Yeah.
getting better at. So what's something for you personally you think you could lend some advice?
Hey, kid, that's a great question. Um, I would say once again, being a student of the game and understanding your craft. Understanding your craft comes with film study. Studying your opponent, man. No matter what level you're on, study your opponent is probably the most important thing you can do. Besides the conditioning, the weightlifting, and all the eating right, nutrition, stretching, massages, that's all body stuff. When it comes to this is what you need to play. Besides your body, you got to play with your mind.
Yeah.
Talent only can take you but so far.
Yeah.
But if you understand the game and understand what you're doing out there, understand not just what you're doing, but why you're doing it,
Mhm.
you're able to beat people to the punch before they even can think.
Mm.
And it was crazy. Once again, I don't want to keep going back to Pittsburgh. It was crazy to see how when we was in Pittsburgh, we do a red zone drill every day before practice start to get the blood flowing. It was
Mm.
called 7 shots. Four plays for the ones, 3 plays for the twos. If you was a third string, you didn't get no reps. We talking about during the season. This is after cuts. We talking about 53-man roster type stuff.
Yeah.
Four plays for the ones, 3 plays for the twos, thirds, just sit around, chill. And that's what it was, cut and dry. You wanted to get into that second team to get some of those 3 reps. But just watching Ben Roethlisberger operate in 7 shots, being able to send at the time Juju Smith in motion, send Ryan Switzer in motion, and his blitz is being dialed up in that 7 shots period. And it's like he throws the ball not even looking where he needed. It was the most crazy shit I ever saw, Keegan. I was like, how the hell did Ben know with all this moving that he could hike the ball, looking this way, and just throw it, and he was wide open? I
Wow.
mean, that blew my mind. And it's like, I'm still don't understand how did he know Ryan Switzer was wide open on that 7 shots play where he never looked over there to see it was a corner dropping down. I mean, we doing it from like the 5 yard line, 4 yard line, so it's tight. It's easy. It's a tight area for a defender to easy run and jump that ball. How did you know he was going to be open? It goes back to film study. It goes back to repetition and seeing stuff over and over and over to the point the game slows down, to the point where you know where people are going to be before they be there, because at the end of the day, he understood defense has still got to be gap sound. He understood that you cannot neglect something to try to gain something because you're always going to lose. So he knew that spot was going to be open because of the way he's already studied defenses. That's one thing that I feel on every level. Learning a game of football and learning your opponent is you can never go too many hours doing that. You know what I mean? And I think that's right there the most important thing right now for me in all my game was knowing my opponent, because it makes you have to work less because your brain worked the hardest because you know what everything is going to be. You don't have to try to rely on your measurements, your size, or how much you pump an iron to win the battle for you. Use your brain and know where he's going to be at. You'll work less harder and you'll work smarter.
Man, that just the fact that I mean that's like an ode to the talent that Ben Roethlisberger was, to be able
Crazy.
to time that up and just be like, think, like have
Not even looking. I mean, catch the ball looking right and bink wide open. I'm like, whoa. I'm
wait.
sitting there back there because when I first started out, I was one of the guys that wasn't in those rotations with the 4 and the 3, with the 1s and 2s. I was the third. So I was just sitting there waiting. And I'm waiting my time, and I'm just looking at Ben operate. Mind you, we're doing it. He don't have his chin strap strapped up. It's literally, he plays with no chin strap out there in practice. He's got a big beard, and it's just like he's throwing dots. I mean, I was just like, whoa. And he might not finish practice. Well, not say might, he's not going to finish practice. He's going to have ice on his elbows at some point. I caught the old Ben Roethlisberger. But it was still a pleasure to watch, man, the way he operate, man, and understand, like, he's done this for 18, 19, or how many years it was, 20 years of seeing defenses, seeing cover twos, seeing two Tampa, seeing all these different types of zone coverages that he was able to just literally turn into shreds because he's seen it so many times. He's repped it so many times. He's watched on film so many times from so many different teams doing it. That was easiest to do it against our defense. Like, it was like, okay, cool.
Wow.
It's stuff that's right, there's intangible that you just can't take away from guys that on that level, man. They just work harder mentally than other people. People think working hard is always physically, just lifting more than somebody else, running more than somebody. But mentally, you got to work harder than your opponent too, because that's the hardest part, is really mentally dialing in to the point you know your maturity more than the next person that knows his.
Mm, that's deep. Um, so I mean, you would agree that it is a balance of it's mental and it's physical, but
Physical for sure. But we all love to do the physical part, because the physical part is what we do. We love to look good. We love to pump the iron. We want to be strong, fast, because it shows quicker.
yeah,
But it's harder to really retain that information and show it in practice without making mental errors.
right.
You can't make a mental error and lift somebody up and mess up by lifting somebody up or throwing them on the ground. But you can make a mental error by not studying as much, and boom, you make a
Mm,
false error, cause a big bomb touchdown, or you give up a sack, or running back doesn't block the blitzer. Like, it's all types of stuff that goes on. And when we play the offensive line position, all 5 of us have to be in sync. It's not a such thing as my bad, because my bad leads to the quarterback in the hospital. And
right.
that's something that we teaching running backs to understand that as well. Like, when you protect it, you are the O line. When you give up that sack, it don't give on the running back, it comes on the O line. So, motherfucker, you better block. And you better know what you're doing. You better put your damn face in there, and we better make sure you block that motherfucker.
Was Tomlin one of those guys that was like very standoffish during practice? He seems like a very like assessed and critical kind of guy, but he expects you like when you make the mistake, you got to own it yourself and get to the back of the pack. Like it's almost what's it, like the best way to put it? Like Tomlin wouldn't be the guy to get on to someone. I feel like I don't know this for certain, but like you would have to make a real critical error for him to really light into you. He's one of those guys I feel like that expects that excellence from the people that he's got playing for him.
I got utmost respect for Tomlin, man.
Yeah.
And one of the Tomlinisms is the standard is the standard.
Yeah.
And people that play for Pittsburgh, we know he has Tomlinisms. The standard is the standard.
Mm.
And my thing is, you know what the standard is when you're in Pittsburgh. We're going to outwork motherfuckers. We're going to literally hit motherfuckers till they quit.
Yeah.
And literally, Tomlin don't do a lot of coaching, man. He's not coaching mentality. He's
Yeah.
not coaching toughness. He's not coaching that. He's coaching curriculum type of things, where you should be on the ball, how many yards, right? Because he knows he's a defensive coach mainly. So he's teaching mainly Minka where you should be on these, you know what I mean? He's teaching that. He's not teaching Minka how to want to go hit somebody.
Yeah.
That he's already drafted you or brought you here because he know that's what you love to do. When he drafted me, he knew I was a physical player. He knew I loved to play in the trenches and literally fold people. He knew that. So he didn't have to teach me that. He knew that.
Mm-hmm.
But what he had to teach me was how to be a pro.
Mm.
Things that I only get one time to be a pro. The first time you come out there, you only get one time to come out there and be a pro for the first time, and that's what he had to teach me how to be a pro when I first came out of college. Oh, DG, you got the hitting, but
Yeah.
DG got to teach you how to play under control,
Yeah.
how to hold some of that anger and that issues that you want to unleash on somebody and play with it as a pro and under control and not be out of whack and make yourself like a fool because you're playing overly aggressive. So that's what his job came in, is trying to control some of your play and understand how to play the right way and win in football and not just playing crazy. But he ain't doing no coaching no one on mentality. He brought that in there because he know that's what you got. And to back to your thing, he says he's standoffish. I wouldn't say he's very standoffish, but he does have his way where he sits back and let grown ass men play. Because like he said, Tomlin, he looking for grown ass men. Go be an A player. Go be a player. If you're a B player, become an A player. A player is a TJ Watt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I would say right now, Justin Fields right now on the team will be a B player. He's go be an A player where the team relies on you right now, because right now he's new to the system. He needs to become an A player where when it's on the line, we know Justin Fields is going to make that play every time because he doesn't. Tom Brady, you knew when the time when it's, I don't give a fuck, it was 2 seconds left. Tom Brady going to find a way to make something happen because that's the type of caliber player he is. Put it on my back. I got it. Even when it's unbelievable, I can still make it happen. If you see what I'm saying, TJ Watt, when the back gets the wall, TJ Watt gonna find a way to poke that ball out, force fumbles or something, get a sack or something to end the game. As we see in the beginning of the year against the Falcons and the Steelers, TJ Watt put the game away by himself with all those sacks in the game. It was nothing the Falcons can do. It was over with because TJ Watt said, "I'm an A player." Tomlin challenged me every day to be a better player, to literally take this team by storm when everything is looking rocky. And TJ Watt does what in the fourth quarter? Sack, fumble, strip, sack. That's what he get paid to do. He's looking for A players. And if you're not an A player, look up to somebody that is an A player like TJ Watt. If you nick her big, be like TJ Watt, become an A player. Be like him. And that's the stuff that Tomlin did around the building. He challenged people, man. And TJ Watt said one day, and I was like, man, TJ, man, you just keep getting better. When I was there, he was like, bro, when I my first couple of years, I was good at getting sacks. But Tomlin always told me that don't just be a person that gets sacks. Go get the ball out. That's what make you a great player. And if you see now, TJ Watt, every time he goes there, he's not just going for the sack. He's going to get the ball out. Every time you see him just punching at the ball, even when he getting sacks, he's not just grabbing them and slinging on the ground and say, "Oh, I got a sack," and do his little kick motion thing. He's literally punching at the ball, trying to rip it out because that's what he's been challenged to do. And this was 3 years ago. He told me that when I was there.
Yeah, TJ.
And he still lives that way now.
That son of a bitch. Week 2, man. He freaking, no disrespect to the Steelers, but he made the Broncos offensive line look like bar swinging doors. It just pissed me off. I'm like, bro, we can't get a double team on his ass. We can't get a freaking tight end to come up. Halfback can't come in the gap and clean him up. He's gonna find a way. He's got the low leverage, the low center of gravity. His body contortion, the way he's able to get underneath and kind of swing and contort his body, reminds me of like prime Von Miller. I have not seen an athlete like him at that position since Von Miller came into the league. And that's God's honest truth.
I mean, when we talk about edge rushers now, wait a minute. There's edge rushers that could bend like that. You cannot forget about the freak and Myles Garrett. That dude right there to be that size that can slide and hit the ground and come back up. Now, that's a freak of nature. But TJ Watt, he has a knack for sacks, man. I understand what he's done. He's slippery.
Mm.
as we say. He's just very slippery. It's like he's not the biggest dude, he's not the strongest dude, but he has a give a shit about him that is unblockable. Put it that way. His give a shit level is unblockable. And that's the difference between him and the rest of these great good pass rushers to make them good and make TJ great. He has a give a shit about him that makes him unblockable. And
That's a
he's so
good way to
slippery.
put it. That's a good
I
way
don't
to.
know what it is. Because is Miles Garrett better than TJ? Or is he better than he has better size, he has everything, but why do TJ find a way to just keep getting sacks every year, even when they start to double team? Still find a way to get there. His
Mm.
give shit level is unblockable. That's
He
what that means.
he in your eyes, is he a Hall of Famer already?
Bro, Hall of Famer, bro. That's hands down. If JJ Watt is Hall of Famer, this motherfucker been a Hall of Famer 3 years ago then.
It was rhetorical. I kind of.
if JJ Watt is going to the Hall of Fame, TJ Watt already the Hall of Fame before he got there. Because
That's
I feel like JJ Watt was great, but I feel like the things that TJ's doing, one is better than JJ is the fact that he's healthy. He
yeah,
continues to stay healthy.
yeah,
JJ, for some reason, he just couldn't. He was a bag of ice. Like once you hit the ground, all it was just shambles together. Like it was crazy. It starts off real stuck together. So when you drop on the ground, it just breaks into shambles. Like it was crazy.
yeah.
TJ is a Terminator, man. He breaks and rips an ab at him. He still finds a way to get out there. It's unbelievable, man. The guy, man, his nutrition and he looked like he used to eat bird food. I don't know if it was like what type of food he was eating every morning. He used to go around the facility that's coming there. He's walked there, and TJ doesn't talk. He walks like a Terminator. He walks in there and he's just walking. He's holding his food in his hand. He's like, her, her, her. What's up, TJ? What's up? Her. Eats his seeds like seeds inside of a bucket. He's eat that shit, and it's like he turned into a gremlin. Sack. Like, chill, relax, buddy, relax. Like it's okay. It's okay. Save for game day, buddy. It's okay. But Hall of Famer, man, unbelievable
Wow.
player, man. One of the best D linemen I've ever seen around.
So we'll table the NFL conversation for the back half. Obviously, we got some picks we're going to get into talking about this weekend. I don't know when this podcast is going to drop, but hopefully, we're going to have it by Monday. I do want to get into basically what attracted you to Maryland. Obviously, you grew up in DC. So,
Right.
just kind of giving a backstory on what led you to go to the University of Maryland. And yeah, take it from there, man. Tell the people your
Come
story.
on, Keegan. No, come on, don't be so inviting like that, bro. But nah, man, what got me going to Maryland, man, and staying home playing college ball at home, man, was just me being a hometown guy, man, and not being a guy that just want to be the next guy. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? Really actually make an impact on not just myself, but the community, man.
sure.
I can't. I feel like, man, I had offers to go everywhere. I could have went to Florida, could have went to Alabama, could have went to Clemson, could have went any place I wanted to be, and I just felt like it was more impact for me to be at home and doing it while I was at home. You know what I mean? It's good to do it while I'm at Alabama winning national championships, but the feeling of your folks actually being at the game and witnessing you doing great things like that on the field, it's a different vibe, different feeling. And I just want to make the impact on the community, man. So every time I go back home, it's nothing but love, man. You're like a hometown hero, man. A guy that made it out the trenches, the mud. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? And you got out the mud, man. And you worked hard for everything you got, man. And you're known for that, man, by staying home and sacrificing the opportunity of going to go win national championships at the Florida Gators, which I was going to go to if I didn't go to Maryland. I was going to Florida, and
Mhm.
I sacrificed that, man, and chose to be home, man, being close to home, man.
All right, all right. So I like that. I like that reasoning. But I want you to kind of sell me on. So Big Ten, we always get into this conversation, and I've had this argument with Johnny Dixon. I've had this argument with guys like I don't even know who else I've had from the Big Ten and the SEC on the show, but
Yeah,
Johnny Dixon comes to mind because obviously he
Johnny
went
Dixon. Yeah,
and he played. Shout out to JD. But when you look at the Big Ten compared to the SEC, kind of sell me. Okay, all right. Obviously, you're going to be biased because you're a Big Ten guy.
for sure.
But when you look at the competition between the two, you go into the Big Ten. What was kind of your expectation going to Maryland as far as the competition side? And then in comparison to when you got to Maryland and being in the Big Ten, talk about what it's like being in such a competitive conference such as the Big Ten. Because I think me being an SEC guy myself,
Yeah. Missouri, huh?
MIZ, baby,
Mizzou.
go
Yep.
Tigers. But I will say, yeah, just kind of talk. about what it's like being in such a big conference because they are a juggernaut, and I'm going to give them
Yeah,
their dues. So,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
talk about that.
First of all, when you think of college football, you do think of the Big Ten. Let's make that school fair and square
Here
right
we
now.
go. Here
That
we
when you
go.
talk about the best type of football right now being played is in the Big Ten. I'm a little biased because I played in the Big Ten conference, but Big Ten conference got the best offensive line and defensive line fronts that you see on the pro level.
Mm,
But to answer your question, man, the Big Ten, man, it's the competition there, man, is it's crazy, bro. You got to think about it, man. Some of the great talent, man. For me, being an offensive lineman, going against some of the great talents like the Bosa brothers, man, and I mean, those guys was crazy to go against every week. Man, when I look at those conferences like the Big Ten and SEC, they are the pillars of college football. They are the pillars. They are the top of the top. They're the cream of the crops, man. Every conference wants to be like the Big Ten and SEC. And
right.
all jokes aside, I mean, it's a toss up. You don't know which conference is better between the SEC and the Big Ten. They're both at a high level. Some will say the SEC is basically the downgrade of the NFL and things like that. But SEC got great ballers as well, man. And I was happy about the conversion over to the Big Ten, man. I felt like it was going to be better exposure for a lot of us guys, man, that was in the ACC at the time that we could run with some of the best of them. And us going over to the Big Ten was the best thing that could happen to us because when you go over to from a conference like that, from the ACC and going to a better conference like the Big Ten, you have to upgrade your play. You have to continue to get better. You have to get strong. You have to get bigger because the competition you're going against now is much more better than it was in the ACC. ACC is good. We're not taking nothing from the Clemsons and the Ace and the Florida States and those guys, but they're not the Big Ten either. Big
Mm,
Ten is a little more physical, just like the SEC. None is not taking nothing away from the ACC, but the
right.
SEC is a little more physical. Like you
Right.
know what I mean. So as we see now, I mean, the Georgia and the Alabama game going on now, man, it's a dog fight over there, man. It's crazy to see the dogs come back. But that's off the topic, man. But yeah, man, and that's kind of what attracted me, man, and to playing in the Big Ten. Man, what I liked about the Big Ten was the stadiums, man. The stadium environment was crazy. Some of the best stadiums I played in, man, was I got to give it to either Penn State, Wisconsin, or Ohio State was the three biggest stadiums, man. I felt like was the craziest for me, man. And Penn State, for some reason, is always super crazy, bro, at Penn State, man. And Wisconsin, man, they had this thing they do at the fourth quarter, man. You go playing in the Wisconsin, man, and it was that jump around thing in the
They do
fourth
the jump
quarter.
around. That's
And man, it was getting blown out, man. One year, man, we was playing against Melvin Gordon was the running back still, bro, at the
uh,
time, man. Oh my God, Alabama just scored again. But it's crazy. I'm sorry. This is crazy right now. They're going back and forth. But
damn.
it's crazy right now. In the middle of the conversation, they're going back and forth. This is literally a shootout.
I got
Wow.
the four box going on right now. I'm looking over to the side of
I
my.
got the actual game on right now. It's a shootout. But Wisconsin probably one of the craziest places I played in, man. And down in Lincoln, Nebraska, that was a good place to play too, man. It wasn't as a hostile as I thought about playing in Lincoln, man. It wasn't really a hostile like I would say, but it was definitely a good competition there. But Wisconsin, it's a different environment, man. When you down like that and that stadium get the rocking in fourth quarter and the stadium get the shaking.
What brought the juice for you in terms of rivalries? Like when you look
What
at the
about the
big,
juice? The rivalry for me?
yeah,
Come on, man. Penn State. It was
okay,
Penn State or West Virginia.
uh,
Bro, those two teams I couldn't stand. I couldn't stand Penn State, man. They walked around with a swagger about them that they felt they was better than anybody else in the Big Ten. And
yeah.
I'm like, wait, hold up, motherfucker. Like, we got some talent over here. We might be losing, but we got some talent. We have draft picks on our team, too. You know what I'm saying? Not just myself, but it was other guys on there. DJ Moore, Sean Davis, Will Likely. But we had a lot of guys that can play some ball. You know what I mean? They came from Florida. Some guys came from DMV. We had some ballers in our squad, too. But Penn State just felt like they was the king of the crop, man. Like everybody in that conference wants to beat them, and every year it was just that battle of that line, that little thin line, man, that separates Maryland from Pennsylvania, and just they felt like they was the better team.
So I want to get technical off that because you bring up a good point. So you go into the Big Ten, you go into hostile environments
For
24.
sure.
Like you got to be adapted to that. And a lot of these schools, it's like, you go into a lot of environments. Like we're watching this Alabama game right now, and it's
Easy.
like, bro, you got to think as like a Georgia Bulldog. You going in there, even as an offensive lineman, defensive lineman, you don't want to get caught off by the crowd and the environment itself. It almost just goes to the point if the environment's too loud, like Penn State, they just had a
Oh,
whiteout
buddy.
against Illinois. You're
Oh,
going
buddy.
silent count the whole time. How do you discipline yourself going into those environments? And what do you work on a week to week basis as far as practice and being able
Okay.
to groom yourself for those and prepare for that?
Okay, that's fair. During the week, our practice week looks like, man, in college, man. When you're going to go to a hostile environment, which is almost every week, which is like the big house, all these different places.
Damn.
You work a silent cadence, man. A silent cadence is sometimes you can go off of the clap of the quarterback's hand, which
Right.
is sometimes still hard to hear, or we can go off the head bob of a center. The center might bring his head up, and on the second head bob, the ball is coming, or simply just peripher the ball. Like I just look at the ball. A quick story: I got beat by Nick Bosa real bad against Ohio State. We down in the horseshoe, man, and I get beat real bad. We're going on a silent cadence, the first third down of the game. Nick Bosa beat me so bad off the ball because I didn't know if I wanted to look at him and move off his reaction or look at the ball and just peripher him and try to get back.
Yeah.
And literally, I did not see the ball move, and he was gone. I was playing catch up, and he literally came around the edge, tips the ball to the quarterback's hand, ball fumbles. We in the inside of our own 20. I think I don't know who it was. They had a middle linebacker that wore number 5, I think, or somebody. It was on the time Denzel Ward was there. Denzel Ward actually picks the ball up and runs it in and scores the first third down in the game, and I caused a big, huge strip sack, man. And it was crazy because he didn't sack him. I got just enough of him, but his arms long enough to tip the ball. Mm-hmm. And that's a devastating moment for me. That's probably one of the worst plays in my college career, I felt like, because the simple fact that it was just so loud, man. I couldn't hear, and it wasn't making no excuses, but it was just like I was trying to figure it out. Like, that was pretty much our first time really going to silent cadence that year and actually having to use it. And it was a disadvantage, man. When you're on offense, you're in a hostile environment like that, man, and you really can't hear. Like, it's tough. It's tough, man, because you got to do two things at once. You got to try to peripher and block at the same time.
Of recent, I mean, you think about the names that have come out of Big Ten, especially on the defensive side. You just ripped off like 6 dudes, like Bosa, Parsons up in Penn State. Um, I mean, off the top of my head of recent, obviously Aiden Hutchinson when he played at Michigan. I mean,
I
those are
didn't really. Oh, buddy, I forgot. Rashawn Gary, man. He was another tough one. Rashawn Gary was definitely a tough one in Michigan, man. He was definitely a good opponent going against him and Chris and Chase Winovich. Chase Winovich. Man, I mean, Michigan was a tough team, man. Every year, man, we knew playing against Big Ten, but going against Michigan, we wanted to bring it. Yeah. I think that's when you think about when it boils down to this thing, Keegan, man. That's what you want as a player, man. You want that competition. You don't want to play in a conference where you know everything is easy. And I'm not saying the other conferences are easier. I'm just saying you want to go against the best of the best. All these people you played against, you won't see on Sundays.
Yeah, right.
For the most part. Mm-hmm. They're going to be in someone's camp, whether they get drafted or not. They're going to be somewhere that you played against this guy. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, that's what you want to play against the best. Right. Because you really want to test yourself to see really how good you are.
Right. Exactly. That's a good point. Right. When you look at that and you study that, because we talked about it earlier, we talked about being a student of the game and really 100%. Understanding not only your own tendencies, but when you're going up against guys on a week-to-week basis that are 5-star, I mean, they're bringing that every single freaking snap. You almost want to be like, all right, you got me on that one, you son of a bitch. I'm going to get you on the next one.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, I mean, in the film room, you got to be, it goes back to the mental thing that we touched on. Like that, is what makes you, that's what brings out that, like, okay, now I'm going to get you on this next step. Were you very much focused and invested in like studying the opponent's tendencies and how do you kind of prepare yourself for that mentally as an offensive lineman going up against guys of that caliber and kind of anticipating their moves and body language and everything like that?
Keegan, you on it tonight, brother. You on it tonight. 100%, man. You on it 100%. When you playing in a conference like this, man, you got to be able to study your opponent. Me personally, I always looked at tendencies for D linemen from the fingertips to their feet and how they put their feet in the stance. It tells me a lot. And of course, you got to be smart, man. You're a football player. You got to be smart. You can't just play off of talent. You got to know if it's third and long, you have a wide 7 technique and a 5 technique. A far 7 technique and a wide 3 technique. You know, right now I'm a guard. Some type of twist is going down. Whether they're going ET or they're going TE, some type of twist is going down on this third and long because that's what they want to do. They want to confuse you up front to create sacks and havoc on the quarterback. And as an offensive lineman, you have to stick to your technique, man, and understand what you saw. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be everything. Every time you play a game, there's going to be some nuances that come out of nowhere. But for the most part, these pass rushers are going to stick to what they know. And if they do this 1-2 and go under every time on third down, they most likely going to do that a lot. If you see it on the film over and over and over, most likely that's coming most of the time during the game. They might switch up one time just to throw the tendency off, but they're going to get back to it because that's what they do. And film don't lie, man. The eye in the sky never lies when it comes to film. So what you see on film, most likely they're going to go to that. If it's working, they keep getting sacks on a dip and rip and all this bull rushing, whatever they choose to do, and they keep getting sacks on it. You best believe coming into that game, whoever you're playing against, he's going to do that every play.
Who talked
And
to you?
as an offensive lineman, from the standpoint of me, if I'm giving up sacks, keep getting beat inside, guess what the hell Keegan going to do after keep watching my film? Go inside, because that's where all the money is, because I keep giving up sacks there. So the eye of the sky is never going to lie, buddy. Like it's like you want to put good shit on the film because you want to show that you don't have no weaknesses, but it's always weaknesses in everybody play. No one is perfect, but you got to figure out how do you limit those weaknesses so you don't get exposed, and how do you try to change it up as much as you can to not tip off any tendencies. You feel me? If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That answered my question. As far as we talked about going into hostile environments. We talked about who brought the juice, who brought the energy, but for you personally, and obviously we just talked about, some of the premier athletes that have come out and that have honed out of the Big Ten from a defensive standpoint. But for you personally, your favorite matchups, I mean, if you had to rank, or even if you just had, man, I got one dude that I think off the top of my head, every time I played him, he brought it, but he didn't get the best of me every single rep. I mean, we just battled, we clashed. If you could think of any guy to kind of give that prop to or give that credit to, if you go back in your college career, who'd be that one guy that really brought it every single year that you played at Maryland? Even
My,
old teammate too. That's
my
that.
college career, I will have to give it a Chase Winnow, man. Chase Winnow, man. I always look forward to playing against him every year, man. Chase, man. Chase had that long yellow hair, man. Chase Winovich, he's one of those country boys, man, that just brought it every day. You knew Chase Winovich was a guy that he was gonna get his money's worth that day. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And like I enjoy actually playing against Chase Winovich. I know I saw him retire maybe a year ago,
Mhm.
but he worked his tail off, man. He was a guy that knew he wasn't the biggest, but he knew that how to play hard and smarter and longer than his opponent. And it was times I had to literally just hold Chase Winovich on the ground, like, don't move, don't move. And he'll still be getting up, scratching the claw, running and trying to jump in piles. He just wouldn't stop. He was
Yeah.
like, bro, stop. The play is over. But he just wouldn't stop. So it's crazy, man. But you look back, man, as now, I guess I'm sitting current as a free agent, man. I look back on some of the memories, man, and look through some of the old film I got on my phone. It was like, man, I got to see some of these videos of me and Chase going against each other, man. It was a fun matchup, man, because we already knew between plays we'd tap each other on the backside and be like, good play, man, good play. You know what I'm saying? We'd laugh at certain plays. When I get him, he'd get up laughing like, you got me. And it was just iron sharpening iron, man. And it was draft time, man, and it was happy to see him go. Then I went, like it was fun, man. It was fun to watch.
You know what? You're a natural at this as far as those segues, brother, and even
Yeah,
talking the dialogue. I love talking shop with you.
yeah,
I'm having fun. You talk about
buddy. But this is what I love to do. I love to give what the people need to understand what goes on when we take this helmet off, man. Like, bro, it's so much about the game that we don't know, man, and a lot of guys don't understand how to share it. And me,
well,
it just like I love being able to share things and make this thing not fun, not just for ourselves, but for
yeah,
other people that's gonna hear this episode, man. It's gonna be something fun for them.
absolutely, man. And I love that. I love the juice right now. I feel it. But I do want to mention, so like I got two questions to kind of because you built that segue, and we're talking about the draft in a minute and how you kind of prepared mentally and physically making that transition out of your senior year. But you talk about, all these things that you're doing from a defensive standpoint and all these motions and how you prepare mentally, how you prepare physically as an offensive lineman. You talked about you were a hooper growing up. How
I
much would
was a hooper.
how much would you by the way, shout out to KD, also another DC guy. Big
Yeah, yeah.
fan.
Shout out Kevin Durant, man. That was DC boy, man. Kevin Durant.
Okay. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
sir. That was the first name to come to mind whenever
yeah,
you
yeah. For
be.
sure.
But I'm gonna mention. So, how much would you attest what you developed on the basketball court to kind of how did it translate over to you, as an athlete, as an offensive lineman in college? Was that something that you really drew from in terms of your footwork, what have you? I don't know.
I
Could
would
you?
say, Keegan, I would say, man, growing up, man, I was never a physical guy. I never wanted to be hit. I never want to get hit in the face. I never want to do anything. Man, come on, look at this beautiful face, man. I didn't want to destroy that. I'm
Fact.
just joking, y'all. I'm not, I swear I'm not. This is not me feeding to my own ego. It was just a joke. But I wasn't a physical guy at all, man. I was a guy that literally loved playing basketball. I loved hoops, man, because I was a shooter, man. I was a shooter. I was a dead eye shooter. I could shoot that thing from half court all over the place. I wasn't a guy that liked to be down low with the physicality. I wasn't. I was a bigger guy, but I didn't want to play down there. I wanted to shoot. I wanted to be the guy in the corner shooting, let y'all run around, do all the rebounding. I wanted to be the guy to kick out the three. And it was a wake up call for me when I got to high school basketball, and I realized the first 3 weeks of basketball, we never touched the basketball. First 3 weeks of training camp in high school, I never touched the ball. And I was like, whoa, what is going on here? Like, basketball, how do we play? We don't have a basketball. And everything was literally us just running, 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 and running, and running, and running, and running. And I was like, bro, I'm gone. I'm out of here. My stomach hurt. My knees are hurting. I'm out of here, bro. I didn't sign up for this. I signed up to shoot the ball. Give me the ball.
Give me the
And
rock.
the more I screamed for the ball, we never even used the ball in practice. And I said, later, dudes. And I went over to football, man. I really focused on football from that point on. But I played basketball all the way through high school a little bit, man. And then I wanted to play basketball in college as well. But I realized if it was hard and during the beginning of basketball season when you just running, 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 what I can't imagine what it's going to be like in college. You probably gonna be running for 2 months straight with no basketball. You're literally going to be shooting jumpers on air, literally shooting with no ball. No, sir. I was a shooter. Give me the ball. But but back to all jokes aside, man, but basketball was a way for me, man, to keep my footwork together because I had no intention of playing football. But the way it rubbed off on me, laterally moving left and right and being able to have footwork, it paid dividends for me, man. It was great for me on the backside, looking back at how athletic I was as a big guy. You might have seen sometimes Keegan that come out there with the swag on his old line, like he's like a skill player. It was way, it was just a way I carried myself. He was a big guy. I was trying to bring a big man swag to it, man. I felt like I really wasn't a big man. I'm just a heavy guy that just got weight on him, but in heart, I'm a skill player. I probably playing basketball. I'm a hooper. So I kind of move that way. I kind of always try to make my body stay in that type of phase where he's going left and right, left and right, left and right. He looks so big, like a big dancing bear out there. And that's kind of what helps me in pass protection, being able to move left, right, left, right, right, left, right, kick post. You know what I'm saying? And be able to dance with all these defensive ends when they swinging hands and all that, being able to navigate those hands and still be able to stay in front of them and take it in the face and still be able to sit down and anchor. You know what I'm saying? Not give up no sacks, man. But yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got distracted. So they just picked it off.
Oh,
So,
Georgia picked it off.
look, that was a wild finish to that game, but it looks like that game's over. I think Bama's going to win this one 41-34. But the result,
Wow.
Georgia, that was crazy. I texted you before this when we were getting on here, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, the first half. I know we're off topic here, but I had to talk about this real quick. The fact that Georgia came down from like what 28 to
28-0.
yeah, 28-0 at the half. It proves why they're one of the top five teams in college football right now. So I look, that is probably the game of the year right there. That was
Really?
crazy. In my opinion, so far, besides the Miami and Virginia game last night, or yeah, that is a wild finish right there. But that's besides the point. We can definitely, I mean, maybe if we got some time at the end, we could definitely touch on that. But that's crazy. Kalen DeBoer gets a win against the Bulldogs, and Kirby Smart goes to 1-6 against Georgia. I think in the past, yeah, 1-6 since 2017. So that's crazy. But anyway,
Wow.
nevertheless,
What
let's
a finish.
yeah, what a finish. Wild
What a
finish
finish.
there in Tuscaloosa. But circling back to the conversation at hand. So talk about the basketball. This is what I was gonna mention. Could you imagine, like, you're in there, young D Gray, high school basketball? He's like, as soon as they set a screen, I'm on your ass. I'm draining threes every single time. I'm gonna get
Right.
top of the key, bang, bang.
Right. Bang. Every time. Bang.
So you could really shoot from deep, half
I
court.
could really shoot, man. I really have a jumper, man. I really could shoot, and I still can shoot now, man. Basketball's always been my love, man. And it was just football. My size is what drew me to football because of someone else saying, my middle school coach told me that I wasn't gonna be 7 feet tall, wasn't gonna be a center. You wasn't gonna be small. You weren't gonna be skinny like a guard. So, and you weren't gonna be fast enough to be a guard because you're only gonna be about 6'3", 6'4". I ended up being 6'5". Fuck you. I ended up being 6'5". But his insight, man, and what he thought, man, I was gonna be a better football player than I would be a basketball player. He was exactly right. He saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and I went quickly over to begin to play football. I didn't like getting hit, man. Getting hit was something I just couldn't do, man. I kept getting the breath knocked out of me, man. It was an uncomfortable feeling. And then it's almost like weightlifting. When you first start weightlifting, your fingers start hurting right here.
Yeah.
Things like it's ripping the skin off you. And then the more you keep doing it, repping it, you build up calluses.
Mhm.
Calluses protect it because now it's becoming wounded and now it's becoming part of you. So
Yeah.
now when you lift, you just grab the ball, you don't even feel it. You just grab it and go. And that's kind of what football. The more you get hit, the more your body just callous up and it gets used to it. It's almost expecting to get hit. And it's just like now it's just like you might see like the NFL films, or like you might see like the Le'Veon Bells, or like you might see the Mike Ups when he getting hit, or Leonard Fournette getting hit and he's laughing on the ground, like because it's funny, it's fun. Football is fun, like it's supposed to be fun. It's
Yeah.
it's a kid's game, and sometimes coaches and fans and people around the world make it more than what it is. It's a kid's game, man. You just happen to get paid a lot of money to do it.
Yeah, I talk about being an SEC guy. That's one thing that used to piss me off is watching Leonard Fournette being as crazy as he was and as dynamic of a back as he was. It
Oh,
pains
buddy,
the most to see him laugh whenever he's like running through guys, and I'm like, damn, bro, why won't you go down? Like, why can't
buddy.
you be tackled? He pissed me off.
Oh, well, Leonard Fournette was an animal. He was a great
He's a
player.
dog. He's a dog. But
Yeah.
so you bring up talking about the draft side of things. So you
Okay.
get through your career at Maryland, you're preparing for the draft. Once you get on the back end of your senior season, so you redshirted your first year, if I'm not mistaken,
A
correct?
red shirt in my first year. Yep.
And then so you spend the 4 years at Maryland, play there, get into your senior year. What is I guess what is your mindset on the back half of that season and kind of take me through the preparation phase and preparing to go at that next level and chase your dream, man.
So, man, to finish up the season, man, it was literally just finish up strong and try to go out with a bang. At
Mhm.
least go out with a win against Penn State. We didn't beat Penn State my last season there. We didn't beat Penn State at all, um, which is fine. But it wasn't fine because I wanted to go out at least saying I could beat Penn State. I don't think I ever beat Penn State my whole time in Maryland. Um, Actually, I did. We beat them one time, but that's about it. That's the only Randy Essewer. We beat them one time at Penn State in Happy Valley, all white. We beat them actually like my freshman year, I would say. But my senior year, man, which is really go out with a bang, man, and literally just be the best player I can be, and also just lead my team out there, man, and just be a leader like I've always been up front. For most all the teams I played on, I was end up being a leader on the team, and always just trying to be lead by example, man. Just go out there every day with a swagger, a chip on my shoulder that I go to Maryland. And a lot of people don't give us chances. People don't think we can play as well, and just literally just showing people that this is my last go around, and I'm gonna give it all they got. And
Yeah.
it was time when we finished the season up, we were playing against Penn State. We lost, and it was time to go time to go start training. And I
Mm.
went down to Tampa, Florida, to is formerly known as ASPI and known as House of Athlete now. I
Okay.
might heard House of Athlete is in Tampa, Florida. So I was training at House of Athlete now. Back in the day, it was called ASPI, and
Yeah.
with Yo Murphy, and he did a great job preparing me, man. I was still getting that knee strong. I played on that year, coming off that ACL knee surgery I had. Played that year, played through that year actually with the surgery, and man, it was hurting bad. But I
Mm.
found a way to get through it and play well. And really in the off season, I was getting ready for the draft and the combine and stuff like that. I was really just focused on strengthening my knee as much as I could. And Yo Murphy and Sean Pena and all those guys down there did a great job of recovering me and getting me right, man. And then I already had my combine invite, so I was getting ready for Indy and 40 yard dashes and all that, man. It was a crazy experience, man. Getting ready for Indianapolis, man. So, yeah, man. And then that's how it was a process, man. Leading up to pro day and stuff like that into the draft. And then you want to know exactly how it was on draft day, or you want to know about the combine, like
Well, I'm infatuated with underdog stories, and I think Strive really epitomizes that and it covets that because there's beauty in patience. And I know that it was an extensive wait for you on draft
right,
over the
right,
duration of 3 days, which can
right,
be daunting, and you got to be able to prepare yourself mentally for that.
right.
So I guess your mindset going into that and sitting through, 72 hours and then finally being able to hear your name called in that seventh round. I think 219th overall was the
Yeah,
selection. Pittsburgh
yeah,
Steelers. Yeah.
yeah, man. So draft day comes, man, and I'm super excited, man. Day one come. I'm at a bowling alley. Got my family at a bowling alley. Has all the TVs on day one, which I didn't have. I didn't think I was going day one, but You never know what happens. So day one, we had a bowl now. All the TVs got it on. We all watching. Me and my family, we bowling, having a good time.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. Not pissed off at all. Day two comes with a second and third round is coming on, and I knew that a possibility that I could have went third round,
Yeah.
and so second and third round was kind of where I was thinking, not actual second round draft pick, but like around the third round time, like the end of the third. And I was thinking that maybe that could be the time.
Hmm.
So that day comes. Now I'm getting a little frustrated because I'm listening to my agent. I'm talking to my agent at the time. He's not my agent now, but my previous agent, and trying to get a feel like what are we feeling? What are they feeling? Like where we coming? Where we leaning to? And no one knows. You know what I'm saying? The draft is so unpredictable. There's guys that fail, like Isaiah Prince, that fell down the draft. There's so many people that fail in the draft that when they fall down the draft and I'm behind them, I
Yeah.
fall even worse. You know what I'm saying?
All
Because
right.
if they're the fifth offensive tackle and I'm the seventh offensive tackle and they're only taking seven and they drop the list all the way down, that means I might not go now because of the simple fact they're only taking the first five. And
Right.
now they drop the list all the way down. So that was kind of making me nervous as the list was starting, people starting to fall further and further. I was like, oh, I might not go, man. Like, this is crazy. So now day three comes and now fourth round goes past, nothing. Fifth round goes past, nothing. So now I'm getting really agitated, man. I'm sitting there uncomfortable, bro. Like, really can't believe that I worked my whole life to get to this point to not hear my name called. Go
Yeah.
through surgeries after surgeries in college, all this, playing through injuries, taking all these different medications, just make sure I can get on the field and play through these injuries and broken fingers and all this just to keep going. To not hear my name called, it was like a slap in my face. You feel me?
Yeah.
And and the seventh round came, and I remember Isaiah Prince being above me, and I was like, okay, Mel Kiper has the remaining offensive lineman as the top offensive lineman left. So Isaiah Prince, it was me, and it was somebody else that was from West Virginia. And I was like, I can't remember his name. And I was like, if Isaiah Prince go, I'm getting drafted. I knew that. And Isaiah Prince goes the last pick of the sixth round.
Mm.
And I go and I said, oh my gosh, perfect. That's what I needed. So the next offensive lineman on the board, if they go get anybody else on offensive tackle side, I'm the next best thing.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I was just waiting, and I got my phone ring, and a 412 area code pops up. And I answer the phone. It was Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin said, "What's up, Dirty Terp? Are you ready to be a Steeler?" And I said, "Hell yeah, man. I waited long enough. I'm fired up, but I'm ready to get to work, man." And it was a sign of like, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in myself. I'm disappointed in how this thing went out, but I'm just more so excited that my name did get called. I get an opportunity to go play ball again. But
Mm.
I'm more so had a chip on my shoulder. Like, I can't believe this, that it came this close. How do I make sure that my next opportunity is not that close again?
Yeah.
And that was just kind of how my mindset was going into Pittsburgh. I was excited, my family jumping around, hoorah, and all that. But I felt disrespected a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
felt like I was one of the better offensive linemen around the country. It could be because I went to Maryland. Because I feel like if I played the same way I played at Maryland and Mizzou, would I have went higher? You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I'm saying? It was just all that was in my mind. But it was like at this point, it don't matter no more. D, you got drafted, you got your name called. It's people right now at home and never got their name called at all.
Yeah.
So you blessed, man, and think of it that way and just take advantage of it, and not forget this feeling, but use motivation and be happy about it. And use motivation to make sure that you could continue to be better and better as a player.
Right.
And it was a tough situation, man. It was exciting, but once I finally got to Pittsburgh, it was great, man. I mean, I went through all my draft stuff, man, did all the interviews and media, got to Pittsburgh, man, saw my locker, saw my number, and that's when this number 77 really emerged on me, man. I was actually frustrated I got 77.
Mm.
I get to Pittsburgh. I'm actually fucking pissed off I got 77. A guy that was there before me, Marcus Allen,
Yeah.
I went to Penn State. He sent me a picture and say, brother, if you think you got 55, you don't. Devin Bush got that. I was like, what? I want 55. Like, he said, brother, your lock is already made. Once you got drafted, your lock was made the same day. I was like, bro, how the hell do I got 77? I don't get to choose my numbers. Like, nah. The first round has already picked this number, and Devin Bush wore one at 55. So I was like, wow, Devin Bush took 55. So then 77 grew on me. And
Yeah.
that's how I really just got that 77 number and just really and embraced it, man, and loved every time I got 77. I always wanted it everywhere I went. And that was
You
kind of
know,
the number.
you know what's kind of full circle? You just now brought this up. Sorry, I had a phone call come up. Give me a second. So you you talk about, so you reside in Florida, right?
Right,
You talked about living in Nashville. I think you had done some of your podcast stuff from Nashville, right?
right,
What's full circle about that is that 2019 draft was hosted in Nashville, Tennessee. I remember because I was there covering the draft. We had
right.
actually, fun fact, so in the green room where they do all the negotiate, obviously, um, I'm a big Broncos fan, so I knew kind of so Pittsburgh had traded up and they had snagged Devin Bush. Before they made that pick, this is off topic, I know, but I thought first, crazy, it's full circle with Nashville. But second, it was supposed to be Denver was going to get Devin Bush. He was on the card when they were going to make the submission. Uh, Pittsburgh makes the trade. Denver ends up trading back. They pick up Noah Fant. They ultimately get Drew Lock that same draft. But crazy
Right.
that kind of worked. And just crazy to me that I'm thinking like that's like God right there because I'm like, bro, you did work and you played for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I play for the Titans. Yep.
You were drafted in Nashville, Tennessee. It's just crazy to me that that draft was
Right.
there. I don't know, small little detail. I was just like,
It's
wow,
crazy, bro. Like it's crazy, man. That stuff I would have never knew.
yeah, that just
Crazy.
it's crazy how that was full circle. But you get to Pittsburgh, and so that rookie class, what are we looking at in terms of numbers? Was it so guys like Devin Bush is in there? Off the top of my head, forgive me for not reading
We had
into.
Devin Bush. We had Benny Snell. During my draft process, my draft class was me, Benny. It was me. Okay, Devin Bush, Deontay Johnson, Benny Snell. Um, who else we have? Isaiah Buggs. Me, of course. We had somebody named Danny Sutton. I think Danny Sutton. He played fullback.
Mhm.
Um, who I'm missing one more guy. Who was it? It was Devin Bush, Benny Snell, Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, and a cornerback, my boy, Justin Lane, that came from Michigan State.
Okay.
Justin Lane. Then we had like Danny Sutton, that the fullback. Then we had Isaiah Buggs. Then we had me, and I still feel like it was one more person. But so I think we had 8 picks in the 7 rounds. But so I think we had 2 7 rounders or 2 6 rounders. But yeah, and everybody in that rookie class, we all made the team. We all made the team, but one person. It was one person. We all was on the team, but one person that got cut and didn't make it back, and that was the fullback. And it was crazy, man, because he was living a life in training camp, bought a truck, all this stuff, like he was going to be on the team, and he just couldn't stay healthy, man. And then we got rid of him and didn't bring him back. So tough
Dang.
for him, man. I hope he's doing well now. And yeah,
Oh,
no, his name wasn't Danny Smith. His name was Sutton Smith. That was his name, Sutton Smith.
okay.
Yeah, that's what it was, Sutton Smith. Sorry about that, Sutton. My bad, brother. It's been a while. Been a while.
Um, we'll touch on this real quick, and then we're gonna kind of pivot. I know, I obviously this is prime time. We're doing
Yeah.
this, but
Oh, buddy, we doing this prime time, buddy.
we're at prime time. So I do want to kind of talk about because that is an extensive class. You talk about the rookie mini camp when you get there. So do they have? I mean, it's exclusively rookies that they're bringing in. These are undrafted. These are guys that they've selected throughout the duration of the draft. When you get there, what's kind of that feeling like? What's that process like? How are you developing that chemistry and camaraderie with your fellow teammates? Kind of take me through that environment and really adapting in kind of your first weeks and first exposure to the Pittsburgh way, being a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Man, when I first got there, man, I was super excited, but nervous at the same time because I understood now you're a professional, man. Things are such on a high stake now, man. Like any mistake can get you out of there. And then
Right.
all that was in your stomach, man, worrying about the fact of making sure you do everything right. So rookie minicamp comes, man. I think I had the worst rookie minicamp of all times. I get out there, man. You know, you rookie minicamps don't mean it's all rookies. It's some guys that have been there for 3 years out there doing rookie minicamp because that means that they didn't get a accrued season. That means they haven't been on the active roster for 3 games or more. So you still considered a rookie
Right.
under the raw laws of the NFL. So it's guys that have been there for 2 or 3 years, and there was a dude named R.J. Prince that was kind of leading the offensive line group. He knew all the plays, he knew everything because he'd been around for so long,
Yeah.
and he just never played. I guess he never been on active roster, always been on practice squad. So long story short, I come out there with a Doc Vaz on my rookie year, and it was a dude named Zach Banner. Man, I love Zach, man, good dude, man. Haven't spoken to him in a while, but Zach Banner was a guy that was a former USC Trojan, about 400 pounds, did a great job losing all his weight from 420 pounds down to like 340, 350. Did a
Mm.
great job, looked good. But he was a guy that was still trying to merge himself into the system. So he was out there watching rookie minicamp and saying what the rookie, the offensive line looked like. And he comes up to me and says, "Hey, Rook, Pouncey don't like when guys wear visors." So I looked at him like, "Who are you to tell me not to wear a visor? Like, who are you? I never even heard of you. I know who Pouncey is, but Pouncey ain't here. Pouncey doing something great with his life right now. Probably somewhere rehabbing, doing his body, making his body feel good to get ready for vet mini camp. But
Yeah.
you out here fucking with me, talking about a visor, and that's my day one out here. You out here should be doing something better with your life, but you out here watching rookies. So
Yeah.
I'm sitting here like, well, when I cross that road, when Pouncey say something to me about my Doc visor, so me personally during that time, I don't want to be start off on a bad foot, so I just take the visor off and take it off, throw it on the side, like okay, I took the visor off. But when I got in the locker room, it was still in my mind that this guy told me I couldn't wear a visor. That I don't care about him saying Pouncey. All I remember him saying that I couldn't wear a visor because Pouncey don't like it. But Pouncey not here. You the only one saying that, enforcing that right now. So I took it as you don't want me to have a visor on because I look too good or whatever the case may be. And I didn't like that about Zach. So I hated Zach Banner for a second, for a while. I know Zach probably see this one day. I might forward it to him. No matter. Yeah, I couldn't stand him the first few weeks of me being there. I thought he was an asshole. I thought he was just a guy that was trying to be somebody he wasn't because he felt like he was getting bullied or he was a guy that was being told that he couldn't do certain things. So he tried to go out to the rookies and say, hey, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. I'm the big brother and things. And I couldn't stand him for the first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But after a while, Zach became cool, man. He became cool. I understood Zach was just a friendly, big, friendly bear, man. He was a big 6'8", 6'9", friendly bear, man. And he don't mean no harm. Sometimes he just comes off the wrong way. And after me knowing him for a while, he was a big brother, man. He was a good guy, man. And Pouncey never actually said he couldn't wear visors. So that made me go back to Zach and say, why the hell would you fucking lie and say I couldn't wear a visor, bro? When Pouncey never said it. Oh, that's what I was told when I got here. Well, if you didn't know the facts, motherfucker, you should shut your mouth sometime. Because now my beef is with you. You feel me for telling me I couldn't wear my visor out there and I was feeling looking cool, even though I was playing like shit. And Sutton Smith was killing me, man. I couldn't block nothing, man. My knees were still hurting, man, from the surgery I had, man. And it was just I was trying to get my body right, man. I was training so hard in the off season, getting to minicamp that I felt like I fucked myself over because my body was so banged up from me playing through the surgery last year in Maryland, going right. It was a long year from getting that surgery to playing the whole year, draining my knee, going straight to training, to the combine, back to training, to pro day, back to training, running right to minicamp. It was like never a nonstop moment that my knee could actually rest. And when I got there, I played like shit. I had just got a PRP shot before I got there, and it was probably the worst minicamp. I thought I was gonna get cut.
Yeah.
It was so bad to the point Mike Tomlin pulled on the film and said, 77. He said, we ain't draft you for this shit, man. We ain't draft you for this. We can left your ass right back up in DC. I draft the ball players. I ain't drafting motherfucker to come here and give up sacks all day.
Mm.
And that was a reality check, man, that and my stomach fell right through my ass where everybody was watching. It's embarrassing. Sutton Smith was killing me. And it was crazy because Sutton Smith was killing me and he got cut and I didn't. And it was just crazy, man, that they saw something in me, man. And that was something that I always appreciate Mike Tomlin for because he saw something in me that I didn't. I mean, saying he wanted me to be better. And I did it every day, man. And I always have the most utmost respect for that man. If I could retire as a Steeler, I swear I wish I could right now. I wish, man. My agent's working hard to try to get me back to Pittsburgh because I want to retire as a Steeler. And that's really what I'm holding on to. Just really just play one more season as a Pittsburgh Steeler and let it fade away after that. So, man, that year with that first rookie minicamp was crazy, man. And like I said, we all run around like bats out of hell trying to figure out the plays and learn fast as we can those 3 days. And then once we do that, then you get to OTAs. And then we get to OTAs, then you go to minicamp. So it's a month long of football in shorts, man. It's a long time of football in shorts and everybody playing at different speeds. And you got guys like Cam Hayward, those guys are super seasoned, Bud Dupree at the time. You had TJ Watt, the Terminator. I mean, we had we had Stephon Tuitt, Mr. Do It to it. I mean, this dude was a stallion out there, man. Then we had Tyson Aluhu, and then we had Javon Hargrave. I mean, we had a fucking beastie line. Linebacker group was fucking. We had just lost Shazier like the year before because that was the year he got hurt the year before.
Yeah.
We had Devin Bush, a linebacker, Vince Williams, man. We had so many guys, man. Vince Williams was a fucking thumper. Oh my God. Then we had Mark Barron. We had those dudes out there, man. It was a solid team, man. And it showed that year. That's when we went kind of 13-0
Wow.
that year. I think it was either that first year or my second year. I think it was my first year we went 13-0.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Dude, I believe in chasing dreams. I believe in the power of prayer. And honestly, man, as a man of faith, bro, I'm praying that that comes to fruition for you. I genuinely want
Right.
to succeed, and I genuinely want to see that come full circle. I really think you still got gas left in the tank, and the
I
people
do too, man.
the people that I bring on this show, they like, man, they're just alike because they are determined to succeed. And that's what you got to appreciate about, things such as the spring league, because people count out the talent that is in the UFL and they forget to realize, I mean, you see guys like Brandon Aubrey, who right now, former teammate of yours, he is killing the game in terms of kicking. Cavante Turpin,
Right.
previously a season to that, great returner, deadly. I mean, there is so much promise and potential in spring ball. And
And then you have another guy that's had. They have another guy that I'm super excited for, man. I'm so happy to watch him. Is Dondre Tillman. Him
Tilly,
to see him have
yes, two
for
of
your
them
squad,
things.
man, to come out with two of
Yes,
them things, man. See him do that, man. It's a guy that I watched him for 2 seasons, man, and watched his dedication and how hard he worked, man. And he was sometimes annoying out there on the field, but he wanted to be great so bad that it's showing now. It's
yeah,
showing on the next level how bad it was, and it's rewarding for him to see it come in fruition for him that he's able to beat these tackles.
yeah,
And once again, only reps he's have ever got was against
yeah,
us really, and the UFL and his teammates, which is us up front, to prepare him for this moment. And that's why I never took it easy on Tillman, whether I played tackle or guard, that I was going to punch the fuck out of his face and chest because he knew that's the way I punch is what you're going to see on an NFL level.
right,
I punch like they punch in the NFL.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And that's what you're going to see. And you're showing ways to maneuver your body to not just take those hits, but smack those hands around and go make a play.
right,
And he's doing that, man. He never not once. I mean, you saw those couple sacks that he wasn't just staying on those linemen and looking for the ball. He was finding a way to engage and get off and go make a play.
dude.
And that's what I thought was fascinating about watching him because I saw him hinting at that these past 2 seasons playing with him.
Yeah, no, man, I'll tell you what, there, that kid, I mean, I shouldn't be calling him kid, even though we're like damn near the same age, shockingly.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
but there is so much like untapped promise and potential with him as just as an athlete. We saw it firsthand, obviously being in the same building and being around
Right.
in spring ball. But I mean, this is a testament. And if this isn't a testament, I don't know what it is. They signed him to a 3-year deal right out the gate. Not a lot of those guys are getting 3-year deals. They're getting 1-year prove it deals. So for
Right.
him to automatically get a 3-year deal, we ain't the only ones that seen the talent. I mean, like
Right. I mean,
he's got it.
hey, he
So
deserves it. And it's his first time ever playing in the National Football League, man. And
yes,
it don't matter how you start, it's how you finish. Like me, I started in the NFL, did all my stuff in the NFL, and then I went to UFL. He started in UFL a couple years, and now he's headed to the NFL. So it don't matter how you get there, man, just get there. And that's one thing. That's a Tomilism. That's a Tomilism. We don't care how you got here, where you came from. Make the best of your decision. Make the best of your opportunity while you're here. We don't care where you came from and how you got in this room. If you're in this room, you're in this room for a moment, for a reason. Make it count. Make it count, man.
mm,
Whether you're a backup, whether you play your role the best of your ability, man. And if
mm,
you're in this room, you're in this room for a reason. It's Tomlinson. No matter how you got here and where you came from, it's
yes,
just Tomlinson. No matter where it came from, you in here for a reason.
yes,
And that's one thing that I always live by, man. That's one thing I always loved about Tomlin, man. Like like I said, he didn't baby you, he didn't do that. He always gave you real life scenarios and told you, man, how real this thing is, man. And you know what I'm saying? It was like a father away from home, man. You don't really feel that. I didn't feel that ever again from any other coach I played for that didn't like Tomlin. And
right.
that's why I said back here, I'd do anything to play for that man again.
He, man, for just like based from the stories that you've told me and everything, like you literally that you've told, you can attest really to what he is and who he is. The product
Man,
you see,
unbelievable, man. That's an unbelievable man, bro. Like, I wish everybody could get the feel that I got from Tomlin. Like, it felt like a dad around there, bro. He walking around there with his Air Force Ones on, his Nike Air Force One, walking around with his little cross tee on. You know what I'm saying? The morning with his beanie hat on in the building. What's up, DG? Bring that. He be like, bring that dog shit today. Go get Hayward ass today. Go get him. Hey, he used to call Cam Hayward Head. We called him Head because he had a heavy head. He's
Yeah.
like, hey, Head, get that young DG today. Go get his ass. Go get that young buck. And he's always start that fire up in practice at 1-on-1. He'd be like, DG, go get Cam ass. Go get Head. Go get him. Go seek him. I need some dogs. He said, he's like, throw some flamethrowers at him. Put some flamethrowers on him. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to throw some flamethrowers out there. DG, go get Head ass. Go get him. Cam Hayward will line up, and it just be brawling, man. And it was just like, is to bring the best out of us, man. It got me good as a player because he been in the game for so long. And as me coming in the game, man, for a year 2, a year 3 player, I was just getting better and better, man. And it just like, when you get to the UFL, it just made me feel like all the stuff I've ever done, like the game is so slow over here, man. It was like, it just made so much sense of why you was able to sharpen that iron like that, man, for moments when it's time for you to be that guy that you'll be ready for that moment.
And
So,
y'all wonder why he's had such a long winning streak and so much. I mean, obviously, postseason has been a little bit of an uphill battle, objectively speaking, for the Steelers. But
right,
in terms of the regular season, he's doing it with Justin Fields when he wasn't even given a chance. So,
right,
I mean, he is killing the game. And
right.
and tomorrow, I mean, another good segue build up into tomorrow. He's got
Right. And that's best big, man, as we talk about, as we transition, man, and talk about as we on the NFL thing, man, and how great Tomlin is a coach, man. It's a great way to pivot this thing into the Steelers and the Colts game tomorrow night, man. And but
yes.
tomorrow, man, and they both, man, doing really good, man. I mean, I'm a big fan of Justin Fields. I like him, but I feel like he's a player that needs patience behind him. And I feel like the Bears was patient with him, but I felt like the scheme just probably wasn't it, or the players that was around him just wasn't it. Or it could be the coaching staff wasn't really pushing him the way they needed him. You know what I'm saying? They probably had too much leeway to the point how can I put this? The Steelers are leaning on him, but they don't need him. The
Right.
Bears was leaning on him and needed him, so they probably babied him to doing whatever he wanted to do to make him feel comfortable. The
Right.
Steelers, man, they got Russell in it for a reason. To mentor, but also to be a leader, to also be the head, the Ben Roethlisberger they missing, but it's also to help mentor guys like Justin Fields, man. And all this ain't going to just Justin. This ain't going to Tomlin. This is going a lot of Russell, man. I feel like Russell got a big part to play in this.
Russell ain't nothing but Confucius. Everything else is just it's Tomlin's work. It's
Yeah,
Tomlin's work.
it's Tomlin's way, but you cannot take away from a guy like Russell. I understand he played in Broncos country. Let's ride. I understand he played there and things didn't work out, but you cannot take away this guy's mental capacity of what he's endured during his time of the game and his success he's had. Yes, he didn't have the much success he wanted in Denver, but at the same time, every place you go is not going to be the same.
Right.
But he is a winner, man. That guy, I've heard, I never played with Russell, but I've heard about this guy that he works harder than anybody. He works like the greats. You know what I'm saying? He's almost unliked around the building because how hard he works and how bad he separated himself to be great so he could be that A-list guy when the game is on the line that, don't worry, guys, I know this sounds unbelievable, but I got it. Yeah. He worked his ass off to be that guy. And I'm not believing no one around here to believe that Mike Tomlin, the quarterback coach, is doing that much well, that's doing that good by him to make him play this way. Russell is really mentoring this guy, I feel like, man, behind closed doors and making this guy really go from a kid to a grown-ass man at quarterback and really start to see this shit and stop playing off of athletic ability and play with his brain. You feel me?
Yeah, no, I got you. I sorry, answering to a text, but I was listening to that.
Yeah.
A testament to that would be, I mean, you talk about him working as hard as he can, him doing leg stretches on the plane from freaking the States to London, doing that stuff. People thought it was gimmicky, but I mean, I will give him props. He does work hard. I will say that he is a student of the game, and he's always been that. And I really thought that that's what was going to put Denver over the top, but damn, I was sadly mistaken.
Yeah.
I really screwed the pooch when we brought Nathaniel Hackett over, but
yeah.
Needless to say, I think he does possess wisdom that is imperative for Justin Fields to grow off of. And I think he does give a little bit of, and as you've been saying, I think that, I mean, you probably could echo the same sentiment. Like him being around is probably very crucial for Justin Fields' growth and development going forward, even after.
100%, man. Like I said, once again, great players sometimes have to be around greatness to get it out of them. And right. I feel like Justin Fields being around such a guy like Justin Fields being around a guy like Russell Wilson, man, just it brings that fire that you make you have to play better because That's the only way you are going to beat out of guy with that much talent and
Right.
that much wisdom and strength. So you're gonna really have to learn as much as you can and really not make no mistakes out there, man. And he's doing a really good job right now, man. I'm actually impressed by him, man. And like I say, he's thrown for 518 yards right now. Only thrown 2 TDs, man. Seems like it should be more, but through these past 3 games, I think he started 3 games now. And yeah, man, I think he's on the road right now. I think he's playing with confidence back there. I think he's understanding the game, understanding his timing, and he's really building up a relationship and his trust with GP, one of my favorite guys on the team, George Pickens.
So we tapped in with football player D Gray. Now we got to tap in with sports analyst D Gray because
100%.
we to Sunday and we got a big one. Stage is kind of set. I feel like there's balance in this one. I feel like Indianapolis and Pittsburgh, although records may show differently.
Records are definitely showing a lump sided game right here. Is that on paper is definitely Steelers going to win this game, but the Colts it's sleepy, man. They're a sleeper, man. Like the Colts is very dangerous, man. Anthony Richardson is a strong, powerful quarterback, man. That could take some hits, and he got a strong arm, man. And when he's back there and his feet are set and he's comfortable, he's dangerous. And that's what a lot of quarterbacks. But him being mobile and being able to get out of tough situations, because let's be real, he's gonna have to move out of the pocket a lot, man, and get off his spot
Absolutely.
just a little because of the simple fact of you having the guy, the unblockable, the guy with the give a shit level that makes him unblockable, as I said previously, TJ Watt. We're gonna have to slide a little bit there. We're gonna have to start doing some chips and all types of things to slow that guy down the edge for him to really get back into his drop and really go through his progression as he's trying to find an open receiver, whether it's a tight end receiver or whoever. But Anthony Richardson, man, is going to be key, man. But I would say, man, for this matchup coming up right now, to even give themselves a chance this game, it's going to come from up front, man. The offensive line and defensive line for the Colts is going to have to dominate the Steelers' front line, man. They're going to have to dominate mainly on offense. They got to put up points, man, because the way the Steelers is going right now, the Steelers are scoring. They're scoring the ball. They're scoring the ball right now, and they're doing a really good job up to this point right now. And I hope they don't shit the bed because I am Team Steelers right now. But right now, on the analytical side, man, I just want to say a good game, man. And definitely, man, like I said, the Colts defense is really looking a little shaky, man, when you think about these past few games, man. Fast third downs, things of that sort, man. They're looking a little shaky.
Spread right now set at 2, and that's according to a couple of sports books. I know I'm not really much of the on Strive. I don't really get into the sports gambling, but spreads at 2 right now, and the over under is set at 40. Um, as far as the run game goes, I like this matchup because you do have guys like Najee and you got JT going in. If you're the Steelers, I mean, how do you prepare for a guy like JT? And I guess vice versa, if you're the Colts, how you really prepare for a guy? Because I feel like they're almost identical, well, somewhat identical runners. I mean, frame and size, there's certain attributes that make them special and make them different in their own way. But from your opinion alone, I mean, what do you think kind of separates these two? How do these guys prepare for that run game? Because I feel like it's imperative.
So you said asking me how do the Steelers prepare for the Colts run game?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And vice
I
versa.
mean, me personally, but man, I think for both squads, man, it's gonna be controlling the interior of the line, man, which is the defensive fronts, man, and that's where it starts at, man. You have to reestablish that line of scrimmage for the defensive line for the Steelers. They're gonna have to literally get pushed up front to slow down JT in the backfield. JT, we know how dangerous he is back there. And also, not just JT, for the quarterback run, because we know the RPO game is real now. We have to control the RPO run, man, because as I'm watching, man, watching college football, the whole college football RPO thing is becoming an NFL lifestyle now. Everyone has running quarterbacks. So we're going to have to account for the quarterback run as well. And not as much as other teams, but you still have to keep an eye on Anthony Richardson at times where he might take it himself. But for JT, man, it's definitely having to establish that line. They're gonna have to use their front up front, man. The O-line gonna have to use their technique and move those big guys, man. Because Steelers always have some big guys up front, and it starts with TJ up front. So having to account for him and make sure he's occupied at all times while not neglecting other parts of the D line, not focusing too much on TJ to the point other sides are wide open. But we always got to count for that Terminator over there. But for the Najee on the other side, man, they had a two-headed monster with him and James Warren, man. I think those two guys are playing phenomenal. They are probably the best 1-2 punch right now in the league, man. I say one of the best. I won't say they are the best, but they're one of the best, man, as far as the combination of power and speed amongst both of those guys. And it's great, man. I think this is going to be a great Great game up front, man, because DeForest Buckner is going to have to control the tempo up front for those guys and for the Colts, man. DeForest Buckner being a OG veteran, just like Cam on the opposite side. Those guys in the middle is going to have to really set a wall there, man, to really control the D line.
They got that rook too, Latu, who's actually been
100%.
not too shabby in the first few weeks of his game. I mean, I
Yeah.
liked him when he was at UCLA. I thought he
Yeah,
was a freaking he's a nightmare. And that's somebody you got to take into account for, especially
for
if
sure.
Justin Fields or if you're his blind side, you got to be able to take into account for Latu's ability to be able to get the quarterback.
For sure. I think that too, man. I think another guy that's a sleeper, man, is my former Terp, Nick Cross, back there for the Colts.
Okay.
Nick Cross is playing really well, man, and he's coming up in the run game, making plays. He's right now sitting at 39 tackles right now currently, man. And then as a safety, man, I mean, if you're making that many tackles right now up to this point through 3 or 4 games, something is not working right in the middle of your linebackers and your front D line,
Right.
because your safety shouldn't be making this many tackles. But it is proven to everyone that Nick Cross can make a tackle. So we don't know how in the future this might benefit him. Maybe if safety start to become an issue, he might end up bumping down in that box like a Jamal Adams type. You don't know. But Nick Cross is becoming a guy that's reliable in the run game. Don't mind putting his face in it because he's a Terp. But yeah, he's a guy that they had to count for in the run game, man. If you're Steelers, like whether it's pushing or whether up front have to make a push call to a safety, because we know that he has tendency to drop down that box and make plays, whatever the case might be. But you're gonna have to count for Nick Cross back there because he's a guy that's peeking and snooping and want to make a tackle. He wants to make the play. And I already touched on TJ Watt, man. He's coming in with 10 tackles right now, 3 sacks already. Got to slow him down, man. He's going to disrupt the game up front. And George Pickens right now, I'm looking for him to have an electrifying game, man. Take upon those the weak corners they got. The corners are not that good. I think George Pickens is going to have a monstrous game if, you know what I mean, Dan Moore and my guy 77 can hold up over there, man. So yeah, man, I think there's gonna be a great lights out game right now. I mean, some interesting stats, man, that I peeked at, man. The
Hit me with
Colts the Colts are giving up a 5.3 point per play average, man. They're giving up 5 yards a play. They're
damn.
giving up a little bit over 5 yards a carry or pass per play. You know what I mean? I think and that's only on third down though. That's just on third down, and we know third downs will keep you on the field. For them having that type of statistic, man, that is horrible, man, because you looking at a rate where these guys are never ever going to continue to ever be in third down situations because these guys are giving up 5 yards per play. You know what I mean? Whereas the Steelers are averaging 4.6 yards a carry or pass. You know what I mean? So they almost at 5. So my thing is, how is this going to be? This is almost about even right now. But
Right.
how is this going to be right now? Right now, I'm leaning towards the Steelers, man. They're going to convert a lot of their third downs on this team, and they're going to struggle. The Colts are really going to struggle on third down against the Steelers right now.
George Pickens, get your ass open. Dude, he's gonna eat the
He's
secondary
going to eat.
for the
He's
Colts.
going to
I'm
eat.
not sold. I
I'm not either.
you
I'm not so.
convinced me. You convinced me. It's gonna be a close one. I think
It's gonna be,
that too is that's kind of appealing. Uh,
yeah.
I think you tease it down to 3. I think this is a 3-point game. It's going to be a close one. Indianapolis obviously is a tough out, especially in their own place. Uh, I think this is going to be a close one. It comes down to the wire. Field goal is going to be the one that is the deciding factor for this. So I definitely like that. I think
And
Pickens
and
does.
like I said, another thing too on the Colts side, they are doing a horrible on offense on third down conversions. Man, those guys are they're allowing 50% conversion rates on them on third down. Man, I mean they're 28th in the league, man, on third down. Like they suck on
Yeah,
offense and defense. They suck on third down. And the reason I keep saying third down because third down is literally a key to winning.
right.
Third down is key to winning, man. If you can't convert on third down and you can't score in red zone opportunities, you will not win this football game, man. And it's like you're going to keep kicking field goals and you're going to keep punting the ball off. You have to convert on third down to win the game, man. The game of inches, baby. We got to do that.
It's kind of
And
tough when you got TJ Watt running at your ass. You can't really.
100%. 100%, man. It's going to be hard. But we have another great game, man, that we want to talk about too, man. Let's get on to the Buffalo Bills, man, and Baltimore Ravens. This is going to be a heavy hitter right now. And once again, this is another lump-sided type of deal here where the records are not really showing how well the team is actually playing. And I'm speaking mainly on the Baltimore Ravens side, man, where they are 1-2 record, man, where a toe A toe.
Hmm.
Literally, when he could have caught that in the back end zone by likely, a toe could have easily made this a 2-2 type of or 2-1 record easily. But we're now sitting at a 1-2 record right now with Baltimore. So man, it's gonna be a great game, man. I mean, my takeaway from this game, who I think winner and loser, I think I'm going with Buffalo Bills. And they playing too solid right now. They playing all over the place. DeMar Hamlin, man, I guess he's feeling really, really good. Hart is feeling great. Everything is feeling good, man. He's
Yeah.
out here catching interceptions, man. He's making plays, man. And I'm happy to see the young man out there finally recovered well, and he's actually doing what he does best, man, which is ball on the field. And shout out to him. But I got some key players I'm looking forward to seeing really play well, and that's literally one of my top guys. I got three of them. My first guy is going to be Ed Oliver, man. I want to see him up front, control the line of scrimmage, man. I want to see Ed Oliver really dominate the line of scrimmage and slow down that RPO game, especially if he hands it off to Derrick Henry to really put a hit on Derrick Henry to really slow him down. Because Derrick Henry is not as dominant he was in Tennessee, but he has moments where he does start to carry people and start to move the line. And I want to see Ed Oliver really stop that in the backfield and him dominate through the Baltimore Ravens offensive line. That's one of my guys I really want to see.
Um, I think from an offensive standpoint, well, first and foremost, you bring up a good point as far as the depth for the defensive line for Buffalo. Man, they got freaking Greg Rousseau. They got, I think Epeneza's still there, Von
Yep.
Miller.
Von Miller's there too. Yep.
The
And
depth there is ridiculous. That's nuts. I had Oliver too,
yeah.
obviously, defensive front.
Yep.
Out to me. Um, as far as an offensive piece, you had defense, I have offense. I mean, either way, I don't know what your other one is, but for Buffalo specifically, I could see this. I mean, we've talked about James Cook. Obviously, Josh Allen's crazy on the ground. He likes to run it when he can. I think he's hit like what 30 plus rushing yards every single game this season. James Cook cooked the past 2 weeks. I think he had two touchdowns against Miami. He had a touchdown, a score early on against Jacksonville. But I really think with all these rookie receivers kind of coming on all of a sudden, obviously Marvin Harrison had a two-touchdown performance against the Los Angeles Rams. Malik Neighbors
Right.
is coming on for the Giants. Why
Oh
not?
my God, my Nick Neighbors is killer.
Malik Neighbors is an electric football player, and albeit I know Thursday night, I think he ended the game with a concussion. Hopefully, everything is all right with him. But man, why not Keon Coleman? Why not? Because they've already got Khalil Shakir involved, and he's doing great. And it's almost like it's funny because this is kind of what came to mind. Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis, with them being gone, you almost would have thought, okay, this receiving core doesn't have a chance. If anything, not having the egos and really I think Stephon Diggs, I don't even quantify that as an ego per se, but Gabe Davis more so. But the fact that now it's just kind of all coming together and everything's kind of clicking, man. Like, what would you make of that? What I mean, is Curtis Samuel, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Mac Hollins, like what the hell?
Man, they like I said, once again, Josh Allen got a special group, man. And a good thing about, like you said, you hit on a perfect thing. You said egos. Egos is not needed in this game, man, when you're trying to win a team sport. And I'm not saying Stephon Diggs is an ego guy. I played with him in college. I know him. I know the type of thing Stephon, and I'm not going to speak upon that. But I know Steph is a guy that feel like if you're a good player, you want to win games, give him the ball.
Right.
And we all know he can make things special with the ball, such as Gabe Davis too. But you can't have too many of those running around because the team become energy vampires. They suck the life out of the team. You
Right.
want guys that just want to be happy for everybody's success. And I think right now the Buffalo Bills is having that. Everyone is having fun winning. No one is worrying about accolades. James Cook is doing his part. Josh Allen is getting the ball to who's open and not who he feel like he needs to get the ball to because of their ego or their personal accolades. And
Right.
not saying that's what happened with Stephen Gabe, but those two guys are doing their thing in Houston, and Gabe
Right.
is with the Jaguars now, I think. And
Yep.
he's with the Jaguars, right? Gabe is with the Jaguars now.
Right.
And those guys are doing what they got to do, you know, feel me? But now these guys are actually playing team ball here in Buffalo, man. And they're not just winning, but they are literally beating the shit out of people. And it's electrifying, man, to watch. James Cook, man, looks just like Dalvin looked back at his prime. And James is doing his thing, man, with 3 touchdowns, got 188 yards so far this season. Hey, he's on the right track. Keep on going, baby. He about to do some special things. Josh Allen, not to speak about him too much, but Josh Allen, man, a 75% completion rate right now, man. He's almost close to being 100 soon. This man is doing his thing right now, man. He's always finding the right guy to hit the ball to, not just throwing risky passes, but he's putting it in tight spots, man. He's showing his accuracy this year, man. He's doing it great, man. He's just getting better every year, man. And he's definitely one of the tougher quarterbacks right now in this league, man. That is going to be one of the best when it's all said and done.
Right. And that being said, I mean, both coming off of dominant performances, Lamar Jackson beating the Cowboys. Obviously, they tried to come back, they couldn't do it. Sorry, Dak Prescott. And then obviously with Josh, just start to finish killing the freaking Jacksonville, like gutting them. It's almost absolutely insane how crazy his first half stat line was. That being said, any given Sunday, buddy, I'm going opposite here. Give me the Baltimore Ravens. I really
Oh,
think.
buddy. And don't get me wrong, the Baltimore Ravens have a special group. Don't get me wrong, they do. They do, man. And like I said, I got my picks for those guys, man. I feel like they're doing a really good job, man. I feel like what makes Baltimore so dangerous is literally that RPO game.
Mhm.
Now that they have to acquire Derrick Henry, it makes it scary for the RPO game even more for people that's going against them. Because I watched them destroy the Cowboys where they really couldn't figure out who was getting the ball, whether it was him or Derrick. And that's the reason why I feel like it makes their offense so good, because you have two dangerous runners. If you don't account for Derrick Henry on the run and he actually gives it to him, Derrick Henry's gone. And if
Yeah.
you do account for Derrick Henry and you looking for you overcommit to Derrick Henry, Lamar's gone. And it's just like you have two dangerous guys back there, man. And I don't know the right answer to stop it, but load the box and contain the QB, and that's all that you can do. But when you do that, when you overcommit to stuff like that, you give up other stuff, which is deep balls, play action pass. You give up a lot of other things. So they have a special thing going on right now, brewing with this offense, man. And I'm liking it. I'm loving it. But I don't know, man. I think some of the guys I think is going to have a breakout game right now. I think Mark Andrews, man. I'm looking at Mark Andrews, man. I think he's going to really start to wake up, man. It's really start to come along.
Yep.
But let's be real, the offense they running right now is not really required for Mark Andrews to be anything in his offense now, because you have Derrick Henry and him and Lamar doing so much of it by themselves. And I mean, Marlon Humphreys is another guy that I want to see give me some punch outs, man. I want to see him hit one of those Coleman guys, man, and punch that ball out, man. I want to see him get the ball out, man. But they have guys on that side, man, that I really want to see do well, but I got to take the Buffalo Bills here, man, with a 4-0, giving Baltimore a 1-3 record after tomorrow.
There's a guy that I remembered, and really, I don't know if I just get this some sort of feeling that tomorrow we're going to hear this name a lot, especially probably later on in the game. I think it's going to be a defensive game. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think it's going to be ugly. Both, I mean, they're mirror reflection of each other. They're really predicated on the run game. Obviously, you have two weapons in both backfields. Josh Allen and James Cook for one side, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry for the other. Defensively, they're pretty much well balanced. I think there's a few things that give Buffalo the upper hand, but you can't count out Baltimore, especially at home. You remember 2 seasons ago, he was drafted, he got hurt, and it was the basically right before it was David. He fell in the draft because of his ACL injury, and now he's just getting his first year back with the Baltimore Ravens. He's the edge that was there with Aiden Hutchinson, and I can't think of his name for the life of me, his last name, but he was not the understudy, because between the two of them,
What you said? What was his first name?
it was I'm pretty sure it was David. I could be wrong. But now I got to look it up. Shame on me. Ravens
Yeah, we gotta look that up.
defensive end David Ojabo. That's it. That was
Okay.
David Ojabo. That's going to
Yep.
be a
Pretty
guy
good player.
that's going to be a guy that you want to watch tomorrow, because I think in the past, see, I'm off the top of my head on his stat line, they've just now started to integrate him into the rotation, and when he's come on, he's played good, especially in third down situations. I've kind of watched some of his game for Baltimore thus far. I think he could.
I gotta study. Tomorrow I'm gonna look closely to David, man. I haven't really studied much about him. Haven't really looked too much about him, but I do remember him coming in the draft as being one of the good guys, man. And I had that injury, but I definitely we'll have to keep an eye on him because we got to circle back around next week and have to talk about this again about him, man.
We
And I hope we
do.
got
We
something great to
do.
talk about because we know that the Buffalo still gonna come away with this win and be 4-0, and then the Baltimore Ravens gonna drop to 1-3. And they're gonna have that electrifying offense that's gonna be at home when the year is all said and done.
Oh,
As we move on to the Monday night game, as we start to peek at that one, we have a Monday night show up. Dun, 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 prime time. Seattle coming in with a 3-0 record against the Detroit Lions. That's 2-1 right now. This is going to be a great matchup. I'm super excited to see both of these quarterbacks, man. Jared Goff and Geno Smith squared off tonight because those guys are almost at an even matchup right now. And this can go either way. Both of these ball clubs are playing great. Detroit's playing lights out defense, man. They playing some really good defense.
Yeah. I don't see how Geno Smith comes out of this game with a win. It's just kind of a rebound get back for Detroit. They gotta be able to get it done. Obviously, 2 weeks ago you saw that Bucks and Detroit game. Obviously,
Yeah.
they came back, they responded, beating the Cardinals on the road. But now you got to test in an undefeated team coming into your house. How you going to respond to the Seattle Seahawks, who are hot right now? On
Right.
both, mind you, the head coach they got right now, former defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens last year. So I
Right.
think this is also going to be one of those games where it could be a defensive battle between the two. It's just going to be a matter of which offense wakes up early and gets on a run first.
100%, man. I think right now, if I'm Geno Smith, man, with a good defense like Detroit's playing this year, man, I'm coming out right now with the quick check plays, man. I'm looking to go push the ball out of the yard. I'm looking to get rhythm throws, which is pitch and catch type of plays, man, where you get in the back, quick step back, 3 step back, drop the ball off to the open guy. Let's move the ball on the field. Methodically. That's not getting on the field and try to throw deep balls and get it all in one play. There's no need. DK Metcalf is going to be there. Trust me. He just warm him up, get a couple passes, and then eventually, man, get the run game going, man. And former Jags player Rashawn Jenkins is a guy that's playing really well for the Seahawks right now, man. He's coming in right now with 26 tackles. Once again, he's another guy that we compare like Nick Cross, a guy that's putting his face in it, man. I remember playing with Rashawn Jenkins, man, back here in 21 and Jaguars, man. He was a guy that loved contact. I mean,
Yeah.
he's small, but he's a guy that's loved to put his face in it, man. He's a St. Petersburg native, man. He grew up with the Griffin twins, so to see them boys go play together while I was with the squad at the time, man, those guys was lights out, man. Rashawn Jenkins is still doing that, man. Right now, he's been around the league for a while. So he's a guy that I want to see really play well tomorrow, man, against Jared Goff, man. Hopefully he can come away with some picks and stuff like that. DK Metcalf, man, we can't forget about that guy. I mean, he's Megatron point two. I mean, he's mega calf or what we want to call him. The dude is gonna be a legend, man. He's a legend, man. He's a guy that's going crazy, and I feel like, how do the defense prepare for a guy like him? Do they double team him? I'm saying, is he double team worthy? You think? Do you think you go double team this guy?
I
Do you
mean,
get
Pastor Tan ate his lunch, so I don't see him as a threat, to be honest.
You
I
don't see DK as a
bigger
threat?
I'm spoiled, so I don't see him as a threat. Now that's Detroit's situation. That's their monkey and their circus right now. They figure
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I'm more concerned about if I'm Seattle's secondary, which they got a solid secondary. You got Jamison Williams, you got Samuel Porter, you got Amon-Ra St. Brown. So you go into this game and they're integrating David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs into the pass game.
yeah.
That's an even bigger concern.
And David Montgomery is really talented, man. He's able to do multiple things. He can catch out the backfield, and he's also can run the ball, man. He's a tough runner. He's a big body guy. So I mean, you got to get about 6 arms on him, not just 6, but maybe more than that to bring this guy down, man. He's a tough runner, man. He plays with passion. Now, like I look at his page a little bit on Instagram. He's very spiritual, man. He's a guy that feel like this game doesn't owe him anything. He owes everything to the game, and he plays like it every time he goes out there. And that's how I look at him. He owes everything to this game and the people that came before him. So, and I feel like, man, when you got guys like that, man, you love to watch them guys play, man. But him and Brian Branch is another guy that's a great player, man. I feel like he's leading with 22 tackles right now with 2 TFLs, 1 interception, and 7 pass deflections. Man, this man's all over the field. Brian Branch is a guy that on defense for the Detroit, man, he's leading the charge right now. Gino's going to have to really be patient and use his eyes to move Brian Branch off his spot to get to complete some of these passes because now he's going to be in passing lanes. He's going to be putting big hits on people. He's going to be deflecting things as his stats show so far this season through 3 games.
Yeah. So that offensive line, you talk about Detroit real quick. In your eyes, what do you think they rank right now, early on in the season? I know they're being talked about everywhere. This is a very great offensive line that they got going for them up north in Detroit. But for you,
Yeah,
what's your take on it?
I think I haven't much watched a lot of Detroit, but I watched the fact that I think they only gave up maybe 4 sacks this whole season, three or four sacks. They haven't really gave up a lot of sacks this season. They're really on the low end of giving up sacks. So that shows right now they play with a lot of camaraderie. They figured it out in training camp what they need to do, those 5 guys up front to continue to protect that franchise guy back there.
Right.
And when, like I said, there's no one man army up there in the offensive line room. It's all a 5 guy gelling together, communicating, reading through these things, picks coming, knowing, being aware of the down and distance and the situations that they're going upon. And that speaks to not just them, but not to just the coaches, but the guys in the room buying in and understanding each other's weaknesses, understanding what they need to do to keep that guy protected. And that's what it starts at, man. That's why I love the O-line room because it's no egos in the room.
Right.
It's the only time you see egos is really in the skill position rooms.
Mhm.
There's no ego up front. No one wants to look better than nobody. Everybody, because you can't look better than nobody else. Because if someone playing bad, you're gonna look terrible too. Because it's gonna be sacks.
Yeah.
So you have no way of looking better than no one else in that room. You
Right.
all have to play together, and that's the beauty of playing offensive line. 5 guys gelling together and putting a will on another guy to create success for that guy holding that ball back there. Because it's never about us; it's always about him.
Yes. And if it is about you, then your ass is getting ripped on the sideline.
He won't be that long.
Get him out.
Get him out of here now.
Well, with that being said, who you got on this one? And then we pivot out of here and we can get out of here. We can come back to this next week.
Come back this next week.
We got to do this more often, brother.
Oh, for sure. We might have something cooked up, fellas. But before we talk about that, my win of this game, I'm going with Detroit, man. Going 3-1, man. Giving Seattle their first loss tonight. I mean, tomorrow on Monday night, man. And I just think that defense is going to be a lot to deal with, man. I think the camaraderie right now for Detroit, they on to something. Yes, they have one loss and they don't. And Seattle's undefeated, but right now, Detroit's up to something right now. It's brewing through Detroit, through that Motor City. That oil is burning, and it's ready tonight, man, on Monday night to get after the Seahawks, man.
I'll take MCDC, man. Go ahead. Come on. Heck yeah.
Yeah, man. But for sure, man, we definitely got something brewing, man. And right now, it's talks right now. We might be starting our podcast show, man. Y'all have to stay alert, man. We got something coming up, man. Something coming real brewing, man, around through the cities of Florida and all through the 50 states, man. And yeah, man, I hope y'all find out soon, man. We won't get something coming out soon, a promo, man, about our new show, maybe drop in a few weeks, maybe. Who knows?
Maybe we'll have to see, man. Look, I can't thank you enough for joining me on Prime Time, chopping it up, talking about your story, talking some football, talking shop. Man, you're a great personality, and we are going to definitely do this soon. We might just be doing it on a week basis, brother.
For sure. And last thing before we end, man, I want to shout out my podcast I got going on right now, Top 10 Topics, man. You can find on YouTube at Top 10 Topics, find on Instagram, Top 10 Topics, or you can hit me on my social handle, Team Gray with 2 Y's or the Gray, man. Man, my podcast is a lifestyle podcast where we dive into all the uncovered stories, man, from people that's been incarcerated, people that's country music singers. I've had former NFL players, current NFL players, got all different types of stories on there from people getting cut out of the NFL and having to figure out what's next for them. And these are real stories that I feel like needs to be heard for people to understand what it is to feel like to be an NFL player or to be a musician when everything goes downhill and you can't even pick that mic up no more. All those different stories, man, to really enlighten and encourage other people that's going through those situations to uplift them to understand there's always a way out. And that's where you can find a lot of those stories right there on my platform, Top 10 Topics. I'm dropping stuff every week.
I'd be damned if I didn't put those links in the description below. Watch this show. Tap into his socials. I'm gonna have them linked below. I'm gonna have you got the channel up, so the channel's gonna be in the description.
Sounds booming.
So yes, make sure you go like and subscribe to Top Tier. And hey, before I get out of here, one more thing. What the hell happened to Maryland today, bro?
Oh, buddy, man, we was off to a good road, man. I don't want to dive too much into that, man. That's a whole nother topic, but we was on to something, man. But man, as I go back to my notes and stuff, man, I look back, man. It was a guy that I knew was going to give us some trouble, and he was going to give us some trouble, and I knew it, man. It was that running back, man, Justice Ellis. I knew it. Coming into, I watched him, man. He ran with a purpose, man. He was something like a David Montgomery. He ran with a purpose, man. I knew he was going to be dangerous, and he was going to wear our defense down. And when our defense couldn't stop him, I knew that we wasn't going to continue to put up points because the pressure was Billy Evans was taking too many hits after the play, every play. And I knew at some point it was going to end up creating turnovers, incomplete passes, or him delivering the ball faster than he had to, which we saw towards the end of the game when we could have came back. But I mean, it was a good game, man. I take the head off to IU. IU played a tough game, man. It was well coached. Maryland was well coached as well, and Maryland takes their second Big Ten loss, and they moved to 3-2, and IU moved to 5-0 and 2-0 in the Big Ten.
That's the glory of moving on to a 12-game format or 12-team format with the new CFP. So it's anybody's game still. It's early. You can drop 1-2.
Yeah.
Top 3 is probably written. But anyway, hey, man, can't thank you enough for being on here. Can't thank you talking shop. You've been listening to the Strive Sports Podcast. Tap in with D Gray. Subscribe to his pod. Follow him below. Thank you and good night.